Good evening, or good morning, or whatever you want to call it, YouTubers. What we have here today is a Cobra 148 I got from a fella down in Australia. And he wants us to do the HiFi mods on it, my tune-up mods, and a few other things. So here's a general look at the radio just hooked up. I haven't done anything to it yet, so we're just going to go through and run through real fast. I've got the receive generator on right now, just double checking everything on the radio before we get started. As you hear the tone coming right through the speaker over here. See if the factory speaker's working. Oops. As you hear, it's working. We'll shut that down. We're in AM mode right at the moment, so let's give a peek here. 50 watt bird slug. So we're going to be reading the middle scale. And as you see, it's a right at 5 watts. Oh yeah, oh yeah, maybe 5 1/4. RMS peak on it. We're in the 50 watt scale. Oh yeah, got a good 17. Let's check it on sideband. Lower side. Come on, Mike. Must have a loose cord in my mic. Oh yeah, 15. And let's try upper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there you go. All functions work. We're going to go through this. Do a complete realignment on it. Do all the HiFi mods. Do the comp mods. Just go through the whole radio and just double check everything for the fella. We will be back with an update. Hey guys, welcome back. We're back to the fella Jay down there in Australia. Your 148, man. We've got her done up. Haven't put the lids back on it yet, but I just wanted to give you a little insight on what we got going on here. We did the power mods to it, the audio mods, the HiFi transmit receive mods. Also did direct inject on it in case you wanted to go that route. It's on a switch, so you can go between the microphone or the jack here. Now just remember that if you decide to use the direct inject jack, it will not work properly in sideband at all. You will definitely have to use the mic input for sideband if you want to do sideband. Sideband's everything in it's totally fine. Went through, did a whole fresh realignment on it, did everything. Just to give you a heads up, I don't know if you already knew this or not, your clarifier is unlocked. You do have a channel kit in it. It is on the noise blinker switch here. Don't know if you can really see in there too well, but it's down there on a little perf board. You can see one of your adjustments there. Crystal there. You have a couple other crystals over here. One thing I did notice on the radio, once I got the lids off of it and started doing a little inspection, was you had a lot of 10 volt caps in here, so we changed out all the 10 volt caps in it. Here being one, a few up here. Matter of fact, there's the pile. So as you see, all that got replaced in the radio. If you ever are curious about that, just Google 10 volt blues and you'll see what I changed out in the radio. Whole slew of different capacitors, especially around your regulator, your AM, the AM regulator up here. So you got your voltage regulator here that powers the radio, your audio chip here, the AM regulator here. So those caps correspond with that. Some of the caps were on the audio side that needed to be replaced with your 10 volts. Some of them on the power side up in here. Some down here for frequency. So we went through, did all that. We did all the HiFi mods to it also. Did all the cap changes in there. Did some extra filtering too in the radio. As you see on the direct inject, it's coax, not no pieces of wire like most of the guys use. Plus it's beaded, ferrite beaded, so helps to knock out any RF interference if you're running some high amplifiers or something. Ferrite beaded here too for the wire going to the switch. Also, we put an RF bypass cap right there on the jack, so that helps eliminate any squeals, hums, or something like that. And as we said, we did all the power mods and everything. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. So first things first, there's your receive. Also did a receive upgrade kit in it also. Replaced the diodes, some transistors, some caps and things of that nature that I do on my receive gain kit. So you got all that already done in here. But as you can hear, I mean, I don't really have a meter for you to look at for that, but it's definitely a receive improvement. So, you know, we calibrated the S meter and everything. You're good to go there. So should not have a problem there. And as you see on the meter, right there about the 9. So great there. Also did variable power. I put on the SWR cal knob. Wasn't really any other place to put it. Most people will use an external meter to check their R's. Okay, with that being said, let's turn that noisy thing off. So signal generator's off. And as you see, I told you the clarifier is unlocked. So I just bumped the clarifier right there. So as you see, it gets going pretty good. We're in transmit mode right now. So there's that. Let's get it close to the dial. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Close enough for what we're doing. Now, we're going to look at the scope. And as you see, we're about, let's see, about 150% on that. I've seen it much higher. I've seen me hit 225 with it. And just remember, we're going through the mic. We're going through the mic jack with this. I've got about a 2-watt dead key set. Stock microphone on top of all that. So it's not really a great microphone, but it's enough to do the testing that I need to do. Now to give you a lowdown on the radio. So we're still at the 50-watt bird slug. Variable power, you see it goes from 0 and it'll go clear all the way up to 7 watts. I wouldn't run it at 7, but anywhere between 1 and 3 should be fine. Yeah, so about 8 RMS, which is normal for these radios. Yeah, and remember that's on a bird. So we'll go back to my RMS reading peak meter. Yeah, so right around 20. And then I seem to do that every time. I hit the button with my finger. Let me go over here with the other hand. We'll get on bird peak here. So 50-watt slug, bird peak. Yeah, so about 32. 50-watt slug. And there we have it. So give me a minute, and what we're going to do, man, for this video is I'm going to hook up the iPad, since that's what you said you were going to go with, and I'll give you a quick little demo on that on the test bench here, so we'll be right back. Okay guys, I got the iPad all hooked up to it. Just wanted to show you what we're going to listen to on. I got this Galaxy 959 I did up. It's not HiFi modded or nothing, it's just your standard CB or receive in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to listen to this, and then I'm going to flip over to my Madison, which has been HiFi receive modded. I'm going to listen to this little speaker here, and let's get over here to the bench. We got the iPad hooked up. Now right now we're going straight in through the mic gain. Okay, I've got my conversion box here. iPad's hooked in here. We're using the SM58 mic. I don't have my Marshall up here, but 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Hello, break, break, break. If you can hear the audio, that's what it would sound like through a basically stock radio. 1 2 3, and this is going through the mic of the radio. Now we're going to direct inject it, and I'll be back. All right, guys, back to the down under 148. For Jay down there in Australia, I was going to give a quick demo of the direct injection, which is in the back. We have it on a switch, so the switch is engaged for the direct injection. Now, just to give you all an insight, I think I've told this before in previous videos, you're just not going to direct inject this radio straight off the bat with the iPad or the iRig. It's going to need a little helper, and basically I use this guy. Now, the little black box, if you're wondering, is my 1-to-1 transformer. And if you give me a few minutes, I'll show you what one looks like. And you pretty much probably might want to have one of those in line. You don't need it, but if you run into squeals, hums, and that kind of thing, it's a little added helper, protection, you should say, something of that nature. But here we go with the hamburger. All this is a headphone amp. That's all I'm using. Nothing really great. You could use a mixer. You could use just about anything as long as it amplifies the direct inject a little bit. But here we go. Oh. Let's see. Now this is going through a Galaxy 959 on receive is what we've got set up over there that's not been HiFi modded for receive. So this is a legit of what it sounds like going through direct injected. It sounds a little bit more HiFi versus going in through the mic plug. But let's hook up the Madison here in a minute, and we're going to show you what's going on. Now here's our watts. That's on the peak side right now on the Bird. We do lose a little bit when we do go direct injected. So let's go down here, and we're going to flip it over to Bird. And now we're at Bird. We're about a 1 3/4 2 watt dead key audio to about 5. So we do lose a little bit on the RMS side going direct injected. Now let me do this. We're going to pop it off this mic preamp, and I'm going to show you something. So we're going to unplug. Basically, I'm unplugging the headphone amp. We're going to go straight off the iPad, the iRig, just like that. And now watch this. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. See what I mean? It needs a little help. The iPad and the iRig just doesn't have enough push to get this thing going. We will be back with the Madison hooked up. Alright guys, back with the 148. Now we've got the Madison hooked up, and here we go, direct injected still. Nothing's really changed none except for radios. 1 2 1 2 3. Break, break, break. Audio. Hello radio. Hello radio. Here we go, the direct injected 148. Listening to it through my Madison radio. 1 2 3. Breaker, breaker. So there you go, fellas. That's HiFi through a radio that can receive some of the HiFi. Now all the static is just because we're in such a close proximity of the receiving radios in the shop here. But there you go, good old 148 with all the mods. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back with the next video going through the mic. Alright guys, back to the Down Under radio with pretty much the last test on it. We wanted to show you the iPad going through the the mic port. And basically the way I've got this all rigged up is, of course, we all know the iPad goes into the iRig right here. Then out of the iRig, I have this little switch box I made up. This goes on my main radio. Like I said before, this is nothing but a 1-to-1 transformer filter. I'll show you something about that here in a second. And then, of course, the mic gets hooked up here, which we're just using my SM58 mic right now. Everything's going in through the mic jack, so here we go. And I've got it also hooked up to my Madison, which was the other test, and this is how it would sound going through the mic port. 1 2 1 2 3. Break, break, break. Audio, audio. 1 2. Check me out now. 1 2 3. Hello there, radio, going with the iPad audio right about now. Break, break, break. So as you can see, even with the iPad watt meter, we're on a 100 watt slug right now. Audio, breaker, breaker. So, you know, going through the mic, you're going to get more watts, yeah, versus the direct inject. Audio, break, break, break. That's about 32 to 34 peak right there on the Bird. But what you gain with going direct inject is you gain the audio. So you got to decide for yourself which way you want to go. I prefer, like on my Madison, most of the time I run direct inject on it. I rather have the audio, and then I make up the watts with the amplifiers. Now, as far as what's in this little box here, it's basically, here's one I've got kind of a part I'm kind of working on here and there. But that's the transformer. It's just a 1-to-1 600 ohm to 600 ohm transformer, and you just put it in line with your audio lines and your ground line, and that way it helps you out with any squeals, hums, or any of the other nonsense that can happen during HiFi. But that's basically one. That's a Hammond's right here. The one that's in the little box, I believe, is nothing special. I think it's the Tiken. I think it's made by Tiken. And then this is your most expensive one. I don't know how well y'all can see it. I put two relay cases together, and if you can see up in there, it's round. That's a Jensen transformer in there, and that's probably your most expensive one, is the Jensens. They're usually, I found them on eBay for $50, $60, $70. I think I got this one off eBay for like 60 bucks. Quite expensive versus the Hammonds. You could pick up the Hammonds from Mauser. 1-to-1 transformer, I believe it's like $19 for that guy. Or the Tiken, which is the less expensive of all of them. It's like $8. But you'll definitely want to have one of those in there when you go hi-fi. That'll alleviate a lot of issues and won't hurt your audio none. You got any questions? Feel free to ask. If this is something you would like yourself also, just give us a shout. We'll help you out. Old Stickman at the 90 Man CB Shop, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.